This is my audience. A loving tribute written in memory of my grandmother, Susie Goodpaster. My grandmother was like no one else I have ever known. It is difficult to put into words how much my grandmother meant to me. She was a humble woman who never ventured far from home. Perhaps she knew that she had life's greatest treasures at her fingertips: her Bible, her children, and grandchildren. Each relative and grandchild had a special place in her heart. Grandmother found no need for earthly possessions, for she had her treasure laid up in heaven. She was like a rose with the beauty deep inside, a beauty known as love. Her voice was like the music from the harps the angels played. It was always filled with kindness. Never once did I hear her say a harsh word. She was always soft-spoken and never raised her voice. She would always say, "Speech is silver, but silence is gold." She was always such a good listener. Her hands were like the Christ child's, so dainty yet so strong. They soothed and protected. Her heart is so full of faith. Oh, how my heart floods with so many fond childhood memories. Grandmother was a devoted wife and mother, excellent cook, homemaker, loving grandmother, and friend. Grandmother's home was a wonderful place, seasoned and warmed by her lovely face. She took great pride in her work at home. Nothing gave her greater joy than to see company coming in the door. She would greet everyone with a hug and kiss. You were never allowed to leave without eating one of her delicious, made-from-scratch, home-cooked meals, the sweet aroma filling every corner of the house. My grandmother loved life. She loved her family, and she loved her friends. She loved nature, and she loved God. As long as I can remember, my grandmother always shared with me the importance of faith. My grandmother was a very religious woman. She showed me how a belief in God helped shape her life. Grandmother was like the Bible. She stood for all things good. Losing her sight did not affect her because she always walked by faith. She led a good Christian life and was an inspiration to all who knew her, being an example for each of us to follow. Many times she spoke to me about how she was ready to go home. My grandmother always taught me that no matter what happens in life, if you remain calm and positive, you could overcome it. It was lessons like that I will remember the rest of my life. It is incredible what a smile and kind heart can do. She would want me to follow her advice and the Lord's teachings so that someday I can also be in heaven with her. I'm sure she will be waiting with open arms to greet me. If we live our lives as she taught us to, we will see her in heaven again. She would not want us to shed tears. Even though there will always be a void in our hearts, our lives will be richer forever by the many wonderful values Grandmother instilled in each of us. My grandmother inspired me in a lot of ways, and she meant more to me than you can possibly imagine. Grandmother's love for family, life, and God was inspirational to me. I hope I can live my life with the same honor and respect as she did.